Some time ago, I started getting worried about time and being late for things, and realizing that time was short, and you don't really have much time to spend time with your kids and spend time with your family sometimes. And at the same time, I look at my kids and they're growing up very quickly. And we might be spending times in the same room doing the same things, but we're still not necessarily doing things together. So I thought we should have some shared activities, and hacking is something that I thought we could do together. Now, by hacking, I really mean building and constructing and designing things, and the sort of things that are embodied by the hackerspace movement that's becoming quite popular recently. And for me, this is a sort of an interesting and a fun and engineering and sciencey kind of thing to do. For my kids too, they were actually ahead of where I expected them to be, because there's quite a few TV shows that promote science and engineering and exploration and design. It's all a far cry from when I was growing up. We had Tomorrow's World for Technology and Bosco to show us how to make things. Even these days, the kids' party clown has been displaced by the mad scientist who demonstrates experiments to kids. But watching TV programs and watching performers is passive, and I wanted us to do things that were sort of active and hands-on. We started making electromagnets, which are very simple to make, and you can experiment with picking up paper clips and using metal filings to see the shape of the magnetic field. From there, it's a fairly short step to make an electric motor, which uses at its core an electromagnet, of course. An electric motors are really an essential component in so many modern devices. And so by making little things like this, we just sort of understood and tried to understand how they work. And we also started to break things up to figure out how they work. My boys were really engrossed for hours in dismantling an old stereo. This is full of great components, motors and magnets and LCDs. You can power them up using just a battery and wires, the internal components, and understand how the mechanisms work. You can salvage a battery or salvage a motor and turn it into a dynamo. You can use screwdrivers and soldering irons and really get your hands kind of into these things. We pulled apart a speaker to see how that might work. This again is based on an electromagnet, and then to make sure we understood how it worked, we built one ourselves, a coil of wire taped to a carton to make a diaphragm with a magnet underneath. We also dismantled an electric chainsaw to see a bigger motor, and we pulled apart a PC, and the boys recorded in a notebook the pieces and components they found, and sort of tried to keep records of what we were doing. I set them a challenge one day of cracking the combination on a briefcase. They thought this would take hours, but of course, it's only counting to 1,000. It only takes 5 minutes. From this, I wanted them to learn a little bit about security and false security, the appearance of security. We made a shiv to pop open a padlock, but when we went to try it on our shed, we discovered we didn't need it. You could just unscrew the whole lock off the shed and throw it away. But we did look at the house doors and the design of the doors in the house to figure out that they're actually not so vulnerable to this kind of attack. Now, not everything we've done has been successful. We tried to make some Chinese lanterns and they just go up in flames on us. But even at that, I think we learned a little bit about how to improve our designs, and we also learned a bit about how to take safety precautions when we are playing with fire. We've had better success, airborne success with a pump-powered plastic bottle that we've launched into the air using just water and compressed air. And we've modified that then to make a little rocket car. One using pumped air and then one using Coke and Mentos to power it, which actually worked pretty well too. So, pardon me, slight delay. So this is all about, if you want to find out about how to do things like this, there's lots of great resources. There are websites like Instructables, things like how-toons, videos on YouTube, and of course in your local library, you can always find books to give you inspiration and ideas. And there are lots of great toys like chemistry sets and electronic sets that you can use for experimentation, and you can improvise using tools you might have in your house and bits you've salvaged from things you've dismantled to experiment and to create new things. To me, this has all been about how best we can spend the time we have together. I'm sort of aware that, we don't have much time. And soon my kids will have other interests and they'll be on Facebook and they'll be doing other things and they won't want to be spending time mucking about with their dad. So if you've got kids in your family, in your house, in that you know. That be the fun aunt, be the cool uncle, be the geek mom. Spend time with the kids. Teach them how to hack and how to make things and learn from them how to be a child. Thank you.